He's 5 foot, Canadian, a rapper and a shooter. And now he is a convicted felon sentenced to 10 years. Tory Lanez was found guilty of shooting Megan Thee Stallion after a party in 2020. Such a harsh punishment was not only because of the crimes themselves, which required Megan to undergo surgery and many years of trauma, but it was his lack of remorse publicly after this crime. After 3 years, a social media campaign that I'm sure cost thousands and thousands of dollars, and one whole album basically claiming his innocence, he has not once apologized or accepted guilt for any of these crimes. In private, he allegedly offered Megan and her friend Kelsey $1 million each to deny he was the shooter and apologized to Meg for what happened initially, but continued to pay blogs and write songs to claim his innocence over the course of 3 years. Megan said all of this in her impact statement, quote, "He not only shot me, but he made a mockery of my trauma. He lied to anyone that would listen and paid bloggers to disseminate false information about the case on social media. He released music videos and songs to damage my character and continue his crusade." The sentencing trial this week included 70+ letters and statements from people who knew him personally, including a familiar face, Iggy Azalea. Now, Iggy Azalea basically attested to knowing him and his character and denounced him getting a lengthy prison sentence. She's still being drugged to this day as we speak. She faced a ton of backlash online because obviously, as a survivor of domestic violence herself, it was just strange to see her comment on someone who has been convicted of shooting a woman that she was going to work with at one point. It was definitely giving, I have no idea my name would be linked to this story. I had no idea my name would be released in this story and given to the public, and I'm gagging now. I have to backtrack. But speaking of backtracking, let's talk about how we even got here in the first place. Leading to the trial, the shooting gave every media company from TMZ to the Shade Room story after story, headline after headline. The stories and headlines would not only bring attention to a rapper who has had trouble with violence over and over again, but how this country treats victims, especially Black women. The first initial reports of the assault came out on social media in the summer of 2020, and there was a gradual stream of law enforcement accounts, footage, and public opinions on both sides. Megan Thee Stallion did not help her credibility, at least in the court of public opinion, when she said that she stepped on glass, and that's what she initially noted in her reports to police, and she would later come out and say that this was not true. She was actually shot at twice by Pete, aka Tory Lanez.
He said, "Dance, bitch," and he started shooting, and I'm just like, oh my God.
I get out the car, I'm done arguing. I don't want to argue no more. I get out. I'm walking away. This nigga from out the backseat of the car started shooting me. You shot me. I ain't get cut by no glass.
During this time, she was worried what would happen to her career if she was labeled a snitch. She also said that she was on high alert because of the George Floyd murder at the hands of the police. All of this happened allegedly while Kelsey, Meg's former best friend, was sitting in the car. Kelsey saw everything, but she would stun the trial and stun everyone by saying that she had no idea what happened that night. She did not recall who was the shooter, even though she had told detectives this initially when they first questioned her. Now, all of the gaps in between the shooting and Kelsey being there and Megan arguing with Tori would be filled in as the trial would continue and as people would speculate online. Tori's lawyers really were scrambling at straws. They were trying to figure out who they could pin this crime on, who they could basically deflect to, and the only person that they could think of was Kelsey. But even after Kelsey was on the stand, after Kelsey was a witness, she did not name Tori as the person who shot her friend. During the trial, Tori's main defense was that his DNA was not on the gun, and his lawyers wanted to cast doubt that he was the shooter. The only person that they really wanted to deflect the shooting to was Kelsey, Megan's former best friend, and they would mention this casting doubt on whether Tori was the one who pulled the trigger. The trial was also prolonged because Tori rescheduled as he hired new lawyers and requested a new trial, which was denied. The one thing that I was confused by when I was doing research for this was Tori did not get on the stand during the trial. Anyone who pays close attention to criminal trials knows putting the person on the stand who is the defendant basically is a way to humanize them. Putting someone in front of the jury to basically say, look, this is the person that we're talking about. They're lovely. They would never do anything like this. Look how short they are, would be a way for the jury to feel for him in a way. Something tells me that either the lawyers felt like they had this in the bag or Tory just refused because he knew that the prosecution would eat him up. So now that I've given a brief recap of the trial and basically what happened during this time, there's nothing really else to say here. Of course, we're going to hear a lot of reports that come out of the trial, any sort of information that leaks. So I'd be interested to see what comes out, at least in the next few days. Let me know what you guys think. I want to know if you guys agree with the sentencing. Do you guys believe that Tory is guilty? Do you believe he's innocent based on all the information we know now? Are you still rocking with him? Are you still listening to his music? I would love to know. Sound off in the comments below, and don't forget on your way out to like and subscribe, and I will be talking to you guys very, very soon. Bye, guys.